Load percentages. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's Hangout on Air. We're delighted to have you here. Let me first introduce myself. My name is John Putz, and I'm here with Jogo Botelho.
Hi, everyone.
And today we're going to talk about how can you maximize your online strategy and search performance. So this is the kickoff of a number of Hangouts on Air that are going to be organized over the coming weeks that hopefully in the end will make sure that you will have a mobile-friendly website providing the most optimal user experience for your users. So we are here from the search team. So to give you a quick idea what the search team does, when you are searching in Google, you're typing in a query for a particular thing you're searching for at that specific point. Our team is trying to make sure that you are only presented with the most relevant results as possible, ordered in the best possible order, so you get to see the most relevant things first. So that's quickly regarding the team that we are working in. So let's quickly introduce ourselves and then move on to the actual presentation. So as I said, I'm John. I'm in the search team since about 1.5 years, and we're doing similar efforts to these. Besides keeping search results clean, which means that we are educating webmasters, startups, and businesses on their online web presence through events, through Hangouts on Air, and hope to make webmasters and business owners better aware of which things are important when they're thinking about their online web strategy. So, Jogo, could you please give a quick introduction of yourself too as well?
Absolutely, John. Let me just paste the link. If anyone wants to actively participate and ask questions, I am going to post now the link for you to do it. So here you have it on our page. So similar to John, I work in the search quality team. I focus not only on the English market, but also on the Portuguese one. And I am very excited to be here. And I think this will be a fantastic series for you guys to enjoy.
Great. So let's get this mobile madness started. As I said, today we talk about maximizing your online strategy and search performance. So let's show you what we have in store for you today. Before we actually go on, we want to start off with a very important part. As we are here at Google, we need to sort of make sure that it's very clear how sort of the presentation of today fits into the broader picture. So very quickly, Google's mission here, it's to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. And if we zoom in a bit more on that, we come to the sort of core of Google, where it all started with, which is search. And search quality, which is our team, pretty much ensures that the right information is accessible and useful to the users, to all of you guys, in the search results. So what do we actually mean by the search results? What do we mean by search in the context of today's presentation? Well, to illustrate that, we have a quick screenshot here of the Google search results page that hopefully will show you what we exactly mean by search. So you see here the red highlighted box, which shows you the organic search results. That's how these are called. So the thing above it, the little advertisement, is not part of the organic results. This is part of the ads that Google serves. Also, the list of 5 or 6 results on the right sides are also AdWords results. So to make sure that we are fully clear what we are talking about when we are optimizing your presence in search, we are doing this for the part that you see in the red box. In other words, the organic search results.
But nowadays, it's not just about the desktop, right, John? You need to show as well what it looks like on mobile.
Yeah, absolutely. Over the last couple of years, mobile has been growing tremendously, which means that we're not only dealing with people searching behind their desktops or with their laptop or computer. They're everywhere using Google, searching for different things on their tablet, on their mobile phones. In other words, we're living in a multi-screen environment these days. So let's make sure that we are also aware how these search results looks like on mobile. And for that, we're going to quickly show you a demo. So Jogo here is going to show you how we can access a search results page on mobile.
So John, I don't know about you, but I'm a bit hungry. I'm going to go with searching for a pizza restaurant.
Pizza, that sounds pretty good to me, Jogo. Pizza restaurant Dublin, very nice. So what we have here is the search results page as users see it on their desktop, but we want to translate this into a search results page on mobile. So you could do this by going to your mobile phone and searching for Pizza Restaurant Dublin, but there's also a way to see this on a desktop version. So in order to do that, there's a very simple way. You simply click with your right mouse on the search results page, and you go to the Inspect Element button. When you do this, you see that your screen changes, and we'll quickly bring it to how you would see it. So what you see is that on the bottom side, a sort of window pops up. This is called a developer window. Don't be scared off by all the things that you see there. The only thing that you have to think about here is the little phone picture that you see on the left upper side of the developer window. So once we click on this little phone, we see that our screen changes to a little mobile sort of screen looking size, and then we have to select the device that we want to sort of emulate. So let's go for the Google Nexus 5, refresh the page, and we see that we are actually showing the mobile results page. And the cool thing to highlight here is that since a couple of months, we have a mobile-friendly label in the search results, which helps users, which helps you all seeing which of these websites have actually have put effort into it and making it a mobile-friendly user experience.
And as you're probably all aware, starting April 21st, this will actually count towards your ranking in the search results. So this is actually why we're creating all this Hangout series, so we can help you go from a non-mobile friendly website into a mobile friendly website.
Perfect. So now that we've shown you what we are talking about today, let's move on and go back to the presentation.
Here.
With showing you what we are actually dealing with this campaign, which sort of means that we want to show you how you go from one of these, which are examples of mobile websites that are not really user-friendly. In the left side, you see that things are not showing up because it asks you that you should access the site from a PC in order to make it work. In the second example, you see that the mobile website looks exactly the same like the desktop website, which means that you are not able to read the text without zooming and navigating through the page. And on the right side, you see that the mobile page is not even loading at all. So 3 examples very quickly from mobile pages that are not providing a user-friendly experience. And we hope with this campaign to make sure that you are all aware of how you go from one of these to one of these. And these are simply 3 quick examples of mobile pages that are providing a user-friendly experience and therefore also have a user-friendly label in the search results, informing users directly about that they can have a user-friendly experience here. So we will go into the specific elements of mobile friendly websites today, because there's a couple of great Hangouts coming up over the coming weeks that will sort of part by part talk about these. So just to quickly give you an overview of what's coming up over the coming weeks, here is a list of the Hangouts that will talk about the different topics. So the first one in the coming weeks says Learn the Tools, and in this one we will cover the PageSpeed Insights tool, the mobile friendly test, and we'll talk about mobile usability. On the second Hangout on Air of the Mobile Madness campaign, we're actually going to bring this in, and we'll talk about viewpoints, zooming, and plugins. The third one will focus on the user, which means that we'll look at tapping targets, we'll look at margins of a mobile screen, and font sizes. And then the fourth one, make sure that you're able to set it all right, which means that we'll talk about redirects and canonicals. Don't worry if you don't fully understand all these words here, they will be more thoroughly talked about over the coming weeks. But before we're actually going to go into that, there's a couple of important things that we want to sort of highlight first that will hopefully get you all ready and set to go into mobile. So for that, today we will talk about 3 things, which are being online as the first part of our presentation, search performance and Webmaster Tools as the second part of the presentation, and SEO as a long-term strategy as the third part of our presentation. And these things are very important to be aware of, to know, to have seen first before you can actually go into the mobile friendliness of your website. So let's start it. We will start with 5 basic principles that will sort of form the skeleton of the presentation today, and we'll quickly go through them, and you will see throughout the presentation that they will come back in the different parts of the agenda that we just mentioned. So the 5 keywords belonging to the principles are user, focus, mobility, speed, and sincerity. So what do these 5 means? Let's quickly illustrate them. The first one pretty much means that you should focus on your users and the rest will follow. Well, if you connect this to the search results, then we pretty much want to say here that you should make your website mobile or not mobile, desktop, tablet, whatever, for the user, containing all the most relevant text and information that the user is looking for, and not making the website for the search results. Because what we still see is that some businesses think they should make the website in such a way that the search engines understand it well, which doesn't often, or which doesn't always mean that the user has full benefit of the website. So more on that throughout the presentation. The second basic principle that is also very important to highlight is that it's better to be the best at one thing. A quick example to illustrate this, sort of imagine that you are searching for, what shall we say, Jogo?
Pizza restaurant. I'm still hungry, John.
Still hungry? All right. Let's say pizza restaurant Dublin. Then imagine that you have a couple of results that you have to choose from when you're deciding on your dinner for tonight. And the first result pretty much tells you that they are specializing in pizza, they're making the best authentic Italian pizza in town. Well, this pretty much shows you, wow, they're really devoted. They probably really want to be good at this specific thing. And the second example that you're sort of thinking about maybe choosing shows that it's making the best pizza in Dublin, but also the best Korean food, the best burritos. What else do we have?
I don't know. Portuguese food?
Portuguese food, very good. So in this case, you are dealing with a restaurant that apparently is offering you a lot of different things, but the problem here is that when the user is searching for pizza, the restaurant is not highlighting this part of their offer. So when you are offering multiple services, this is absolutely fine. But when people search for pizza, they want to you want to make sure that you're highlighting that you are the best in pizza. And when people search for Korean food, then this part of your website should pop up. So pretty much always show the user what he's looking for if you're providing this product. So you are becoming the best in this thing. Third one, to move on, well, you want to be able to reach your users everywhere. We won't have to go too much into this because, as you all know, the Mobile Madness campaign will show you a lot how you can be present at all platforms. So you are not losing customers that are searching not from their desktop but from their mobile phone in a park or wherever they are. Then number 4, fast is better than slow, pretty much means that people don't want to wait for your content. So make sure that technically everything works well so that users directly get presented with all the content of your website on mobile or on desktop, and therefore you don't lose them. Because if you look about the attention span of people online, it's usually less than 3 seconds, and the problem is that mobile websites especially are still loading much longer than that, which means that these are probably losing people. So make sure that your technicalities of your websites are in order as well. And the 5th one here is opt for a sincere long-term strategy. This is pretty much that you should consider not going from 1 to a billion in one day. This is something that you have to build up. You have to build up your trust of your business, win the hearts of your users, make users keep coming back to you and really start seeing you as the best in a specific industry. And this doesn't come in a day or a week or a month. So make sure that you're really making a long-term strategy, including a long-term SEO strategy as well, where you're optimizing your business and stay there for the long term. So now that we've highlighted those 5 basic principles as the skeleton for our presentation, we'll move on with Jogo with your online presence.
Okay, thank you, John. I think this mic is working better, so I'm going to use this one instead. And thank you for setting the mindset. And to start off, we're going to give you just an idea of what it means to be online and what channels you can and should be thinking of to be online. So to use that, we're going to do that, we're going to use this example from Butler's Chocolates, which is an Irish business.
of which I'm also very fond of. And we're going to use their example to show you what you could be thinking of when thinking about being online. So in general, no, we're good, John. No worries, got this covered. And so basically, being online from a business perspective has a very similar mindset than being offline. You just have different channels that you can choose from, but you still want to know your users better, your customers, your partners, and you want to know how to communicate with them and where. So looking at butlers, they have 3 different channels that they're using. They're using a website, and despite this being the most resource-intensive channel that they can use, it's also one of the ones that they can convey more information. They can tell a bit about their story. They can give information about their business, about their opening hours, if they actually do sell their chocolates online, and if you can ship them, you can potentially do some payments here as well. But in general, this is good to convey information one way. But if they want to have a bit more of a two-way interaction with their customers and kind of create the brand and create a bit of engagement, then they also have a G+, a social profile, a social presence, where it's much more personal. It's not so much to make the actual business happen there, but it's kind of like to engage with their customers and engage the brand and create some customer loyalty. On the other hand, if for example, I'm walking next weekend and I feel like buying some chocolates for my girlfriend, I might want to look where's the nearest Butler's chocolates. So this is important. This makes it important for them to have a local presence as well, which they're actually doing by having a presence on Google Maps. And this allows them to give information not only about their opening hours, their contact, but also their location. This just to explain that you have different channels, and it's important that you know your customers, because this works for Butler's Chocolates to have a social and a local presence, but maybe other more international shops don't, or B2B businesses might not want to do this. So in general, what you want to look at, just regardless of which channels you wanna go for, is to create a high quality, trustworthy, and secure service and environment for your users. And here, when we mention secure, we call the attention to our HTTPS advocacy, which Google is trying to promote, because as you know, the internet needs to be a secure environment for more people to engage with it and for businesses to thrive online, and HTTPS provides a more secure way for websites to communicate with users and vice versa. We're not going to go too much into this, but we just wanted to mention this because this is something that we find important and are advocating for. So in general, some things that you could think about when doing this is that you need to understand really well your service and products, which we all know that you do, and you need to know your audience and how to reach them. And then when you go actually for online, you need to choose the channels that best suit your business strategy in general. And in the end, you need to provide a trustworthy and secure environment. This presentation will focus only on websites, not really so much on social or local. And with that in mind, we are going to look at, if you actually decide to go for a website and to communicate with your partners and customers via websites, how can you actually measure if you're doing that efficiently, and if you're doing that efficiently via search. So a successful search performance, and this is something that a lot of people might still be inclined to think, is really not just about being first in the search results. It goes way beyond that. And for that, we have a bit of a better explanation. This is a long paragraph, but I'll try to break it down for you so you can understand. We believe that a successful search performance is to be found and visited by the right people for the right searches, and when that happens, to have the right content to match not only your business goal, but also to match your business goal with their needs. So what do we mean by this? Going back to John's example of it's better to be the best at one thing. If you are selling pizza and you want to be really good at selling pizza, it doesn't really interest you to appeal to people that don't really like Italian or pizza in particular, because those people, even though they find you on the search results, or even if they visit your website, they will not engage and they will not convert. So these are not the right people for you to look. But if you actually understand which people will want to engage with you, then you want to be found for the right searches. So you have someone that wants pizza, you sell pizza, but then you're being found for sushi. That's also not very efficient. So being first for results that are not really targeting what you can provide and what people are looking for and want, it's not very useful. Even though it might be you might feel tempted to say, well, if I show up for sushi, maybe I'll change their mind and they'll want pizza instead. That's not where you should be investing your time. You should really be investing in being found for the right searches. And when that happens, you actually get that visibility with your potential customers. You will want to have the right content, and this means not only on your website, but also on the search results themselves. Because when I do a search, I see a lot of results, and I don't look only at the first one. I look at the second, the third, and the fourth. And it happens often that the second or the third result have information that I might find either more trustworthy or of having a higher quality, or even just matching better what I look for. So this is also about matching the right content. How do you measure if you're actually doing this in an efficient way? Well, we broke it down by 3 metrics that you can look at. And one is impressions, and by impressions we mean the amount of times that you show up on search. The second one is clicks. So after showing up, how many times are you actually visited, and how many times people actually click on your result? And the last one is conversions. We are not going to go too much into conversions here, because you have an amazing tool which is called Google Analytics, or other analytical tools that can help you measure your insight conversions. And also because over the next sessions we are going to focus a lot on the user experience and the user interface, and on mobile. So this how to help you with conversions will be further explored, and there's other tools. So we're going to be focusing on impressions and clicks, and for that we are going to be demoing your go-to tool, which is Google Webmaster Tools. Google Webmaster Tools is a set of tools that Google put in place for every website manager, and it's not only free and secure because the data is yours and yours alone, and no one else can look at it, but it's also very comprehensive and has very fresh data that allows you to understand as your business is going and as your website is going, how is Google communicating with it, how is Google understanding it, and how are you performing in the searches. So this will help you understand how your content is found and which your content is found. So to do this, we are going to go into a quick demo. And here, if we go back into a Google tab and just search for Google Webmaster Tools, it's very easy to find, because Google considers that if you look for Google Webmaster Tools, they're the ones that we should be showing you. So you see here, we actually enter, and this will be what shows up first. So here you see a couple of different websites that I already registered under my name, but if you haven't registered your website yet, you can do this by pressing this red button here, which is add a website. So there's different ways for you to add a website. For us to make sure that you're really the owner of that website, we will need to confirm your ownership, and there's a couple of ways you can do this. But after you actually register your website, you are going to enter the Webmaster Tools, and you're going to see something like this. So there's a lot of things here. We're not going to go through everything for the sake of time and for the sake of allowing you some time to ask questions at the end, but this is the main dashboard. So you see at first that you have a menu here, and you have all the tools that we have available for you, and you can see here that there are plenty. And in the middle, you have 3 sections. The first section is called crawl errors. Right now, it's having a bit of a trouble loading some data. But what you can find here is information on whether Google is being able to find and understand your website properly. So you know that we don't show everything that is on the internet. Google only shows what we can find and what we can then index. This whole finding process is called crawling, and we have some robots that just like go through the internet and try to find every page of every website, and as soon as we do, we try to see, okay, we found one page from one website, let's see what else is there. There's a couple of ways where this process can go wrong, and some of it might be just because the server where your website is hosted is down, or you're blocking Google from reading your website. Anyways, if any of these actually happens, we are going to show you here if you're having any trouble with crawl errors. And if you actually go into it, and you can see for each of the pages what's the error that we found and how you can solve it. Then on the right side, and I'm going to skip the middle on purpose, you have a section on sitemaps. And sitemaps is a document that you can provide and submit with the list of the URLs that your website has, and to help Google understand a bit better if we're actually missing something. So if by any reason we crawl your website and we only find 80% of the pages, you can help us find the rest by submitting a sitemaps, I'm sorry. And then in the middle, it's a section that we're going to focus more on on this session, which is the search queries. And here you can see the two metrics that we were mentioning, the impressions and the clicks. So going into this, just to quickly demoing, you see that you have data from quite a big interval of time, and then you have overall information about your overall number of impressions and clicks on your website, and then in this list here you have a breakdown. So what you can see here is for which queries your website is being shown, and then how many times it has appeared, what's the number of clicks that is gotten, and then we give you a relative measure, which is a click-through rate. Just measures the percentage of people that click it in comparison to the amount of times that it's found. So one thing that I want to call out here is that this allows you to figure out if you're actually being found for the right queries, because if you look at this and you see queries that don't really interest you, if you see queries about sushi when you're trying to see pizza, you'll be like, okay, maybe I'm not optimizing my website for the right queries. But it also allows you to see if you're actually having the right content, and if you're appealing enough to get people from seeing you to actually engaging with you. You can see here a very good example of this is that and for the sake of this demo, we're using the Portuguese Google Webmaster blog. And so we obviously are happy that we're ranking and is showing up for the query webmaster, because this is something, the type of person that we want to engage. But we see that even though we show up a lot of times, we're actually not clicked a lot of times. And one of the reasons that this was happening, and it was fixed in the meantime, was that the description of our search results, instead of having an appealing and informative description of what the blog could provide in general, just had a random snippet from one of the blog posts. So this was not really engaging and appealing. So this is something some of the information that you can get out of here. Imagine another example is that you have two products that you want to sell, or two types of content that you want to show, and you see here that one of them is showing up a lot and the other one is not. So this can allow you to understand from a more business perspective that maybe people don't really care about that second product that's not showing up because people are not looking for it, or that whatever optimization you're doing for the first one is being much more efficient because people are either finding it more or clicking it more. So this is just a quick overview of what you can find in Webmaster Tools. You can see also that if we have to communicate with you for any reason, we're going to do it directly via these site messages that you can see, and you have also other sections to explore. Again, for the sake of time, this is as far as we go into this demo, but we highly advise you to explore it on yourselves, on your own. So going back to the Prezzo, what we want you to take out of this is that your search performance is not just a measure of if you're showing up on first on Google, is actually a combination of all the data that you can gather from your online presence, and you can get this from Webmaster Tools, from Google Analytics, and also from Google Trends. And you combine that with your natural business savviness and with your business data to see if you're actually performing well and achieving your objectives. And so the third section, we're just going to go slightly into how you can go about choosing your SEO and online strategy. I don't know how many of our spectators today actually are managing their own website and how many are engaging with a developer, an SEO partner. We're just going to give you a couple of tips, because as John said, we want you to just a moment. Are we still on? Can you confirm that we're still on, John?
Yeah,
You're
we're
still on.
checking what's going on. Stay with us, please.
Yeah, you're on.
I think it has a delay.
Trying to understand if we're still on.
Yes, you're
Please
still
bear with
on.
us. We're trying to fix some technical issues.
Okay, it seems that we are still on. We cannot see ourselves, but we're getting feedback that we're on. So we're just going to continue the presentation, and if there's any difficulty, we're going to try to fix it as we go. So going back into SEO and going back to what John said, you should opt for a sincere long-term strategy. A lot of times you're going to be tempted to, as soon as you get online, to want to fast results and to show up on Google right away. But we believe that, and we believe that SEO, as every strategy, should be part of you providing a great service. So it should be subordinated to a long-term commitment. And there is people that will try to sell you that they can go, that they can have give you a short-term. They can give you a short-term return, and they can put you on Google very fast. But these are what we call the black hat SEOers, and they are characterized for being very short-term, profit first, and for achieving the results mostly with low-quality content. And we advise you to be mindful of this and to know that a lot of times to get that short-term results, they might be on the borderline or even crossing the line of what we consider are good webmaster guidelines, and this could actually be hurtful for your business because you might end up getting a manual action from us. As you know, Google as you has a user first mindset, and because of this, we want you to focus on the user and not focus on Google. And again, you don't expect to go from 0 to 1 billion with your business, so you shouldn't expect that from your online presence either. So the white hat SEOs are more long-term, user first, and good quality content, and this is the type of people you should be engaging. So how can you choose and how can you make sure that you're engaging with a good SEO strategy and with good SEO professionals? You need to make sure that your SEO strategy is in line with your business strategy, and this goes back to all the values that we talked about being mobile user centric, about being where the user is, about focusing on how you can engage with them and how you can provide them great content. And you should also think about the pluses and minuses of having an internal versus external SEO specialist. Obviously, if you have an internal, he's going to be always there for you and for your strategy, but he's going to be more resource intensive. If you go for an external, you might have less attention, but it might be more under your budgets. There's no specific recommendation from Google on this. What we want you to think of, regardless of who you engage, is guaranteed number one positions in Google do not exist, and you should know which questions to ask. There's a resource on our help center, on our Google Webmaster Help Center, where you can find an article on if you should engage with an SEO, and if you do, which questions you should be asking. We advise you, or we at least suggest that you also look at those. So with this, we're going into the takeaways, and if you forget everything that we've talked about here today, and Neo is already quite a lot, these are the five things we'd like to leave you with. The first one is think beyond the first spot in search results. The second is use Webmaster Tools. Be mobile friendly. SEO is a long-term commitment, and you should provide a trustworthy and secure experience for your users. With this, we thank you and open up to questions. We are going to look through the Q&A that we have set up for this presentation. So if you have any questions you'd like us to answer, please ask them there.
Great, thank you, Jogo. There was a lot of good stuff there. I hope you are not scared off by the amount of good stuff. Well, I can tell you that there's much more coming, so don't be aware of that. So
provide a trustworthy.
What we will do now is go into the questions that you asked. We are very happy with all the things that we have seen here. So let's take a look. We saw a question about using CMS platforms like WordPress and Squarespace. You are limited to what you can compress, etc., to make the website speed insights happy. How much impact does website speed have on SEO and ranking? If it is a lot, then you should change platform. So thank you for your question, Christopher Bateman. Well, I can tell you that there is definitely a thing to say about ranking. It is a small ranking factor if your website has a better speed or not. So we do look at that because simply we want to provide a good user experience. And when your website is simply functioning better and faster, this means that your users will get their content presented faster as well. So therefore, it is incorporated as a small ranking factor. But regarding CMSs, in general, Google likes all CMSs, so this should not be something that you should withhold from. Because as long as your users like it, Google will like it as well. A couple of things to mention here that you can use to see how well you're doing regarding the speed. We have this tool called the Page Speed Insights tool. It's very easy to find. You just have to type in Page Speed Insights into Google, and you will simply see the first result popping up there being the Page Speed Insights tool. And this tool will help you directly getting good information about how well are you doing on speed. So just type in your website there and directly find out well how much work there is still to be done regarding speed. And there's directly tips shown to you if your speed is not high enough, which things you can work on in order to improve this. The other tool here is the mobile friendly test, which is also a very useful tool that you can use. Simply type in mobile friendly test to see it popping up in the search results. Again, put in your website there and you will directly see whether Google sees your website as mobile friendly or not. So these two tools are very good things to start with if you want to find out how well you're doing. And don't worry about the CMSs, because as I said, if your users will like your website, then Google will do as well. All right, that was one. We see another question here from Justinas Kundrotas. Thank you for that. The question is why Google Webmaster Tools is still not mobile friendly, and when are we going to have this feature approximately? Is there any plan for an app here? So indeed, there is still work to do also from Google's side. So Google Webmaster Tools should become more and more user friendly over the coming time. There's no actual specific date planned when exactly will happen. But definitely bear with us and we'll keep you informed as soon as we know more about this. Also regarding whether there will be an app or not, we will inform you about all the updates as soon as we will have those.
Hi, can I jump in with a question?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. My question is, I have a separate MDOT site that is mobile friendly and a desktop version. Is it normal in the desktop version in Webmaster Tools to see mobile usability issues, even though I have a separate mobile site?
Well, if did you register your M.dot site on Google Webmaster Tools?
I haven't yet, no.
Okay, so what I can advise you is to do that and to follow and to see what mobile usability issues you would have on your M.dot site, which is the one that you're using to target your mobile users, and to make sure that we are understanding which website to show at each case. You should also do the right redirects regarding the viewport and Google understands that if a user is searching in a specific device that we consider should have is a mobile smartphone, then we're going to show the M version, and if the user accesses from a desktop or from a screen with a width that's higher than what we consider necessary to be mobile friendly, then we're going to show the other one. And if you do these two redirects, and if you register your M.dot site on Webmaster Tools, then whatever mobile usability issues you find on your non-M.dot site, you can disregard it because you're going to be following the M.dot advices that we give you.
Okay, so currently I'm following the advice exactly, and the mobile search is showing up as it should. And I'm getting the mobile friendly tag in mobile search. So all the redirects are correct, and I followed them correctly. So you're saying that even when I set up the M dot in Webmaster Tools, I'll continue to see mobile usability issues on the desktop version, and I should disregard them?
So I don't have a straight answer for this. I'm assuming that if the URLs that are still not mobile friendly, you might still see mobile usability issues for those not m.dots URLs, just because they are not mobile friendly. But if those URLs are not going to be shown for mobile users, then if they do show up, you can disregard them.
Okay, I have one more question. Obviously I can't fit all the content that's on my desktop on the mobile. It's just there's not enough space for all the keywords.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say there's a long tail keyword on the desktop version that doesn't show up on the mobile version. Does Google use the keywords that show up on the desktop version to rank the mobile? So for example, if I have the word rhinoceros on my desktop, but I couldn't fit it on my mobile because I couldn't fit it all on there, will I show up for the word rhinoceros on mobile searches?
So if that keyword is not going to be present on the content that you would show up to your users on mobile, then we're going to take that into consideration. And I think that goes that's pretty clear, because if I'm searching for rhinoceros on my mobile and your site comes up, but when I access your website, the page that you're showing me does not have any information on rhinoceros, then it's not really providing me the experience and the content that I'm looking for.
Okay, and what if the content on the mobile is contracted down in expandable divs, but on the desktop it's all expanded? Does that have an effect?
So if the content is there and is accessible to the user, even though it might be shortened and kind of like just hidden under kind of like drop-down menus or drop-down content, then if you're showing that content to the user, then it's okay. The problem is if you try to if you hide that content from the users but don't hide it from Google, then you're getting very close to what we consider to be a cloaking practice, which falls out of our guidelines. So
it's not hiding, it's just an expandable div so that it's more user-friendly, like Wikipedia, where you click on it and it expands open. So
if the content is there, and it's there in a way that the users will access when we'll have a good experience, then sure, we're going to still consider it. If the content is there when Google looks at the page and we don't identify you as cloaking but actually just providing a good experience to the user, then you're perfectly fine.
Okay, thank you very much. I also asked these two questions in the Q&A, so you can ignore them.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Two things from the Q&A that we see are popping up a lot that we definitely want to make clear here. So you are asking us about the mobile ranking changes that will take place on the 21st of April. And the question is pretty much about, will the ranking changes only affect my website for mobile searchers or also for desktop searches? So the answer to that is only for mobile searches. So don't be afraid. On the 21st of April, there will only be an update taking place for your search results in mobile, which means that desktop will stay the same as it's working right now. This does definitely mean, though, that you should pay attention to the mobile search results, as this is something that people are using more and more. And yeah, you should stay ahead of the game and make sure that you are already providing a good mobile-friendly user experience before the changes come into play. And another thing that we see popping up in the questions is about whether to go for responsive design or a totally new mobile website. Well, quickly to mention on that, this is totally dependent on the type of business you have. So you should be looking at your desktop website and think about, do I want all the features that are present here also to be present on mobile? Or do I think that on a mobile site I only need a couple of things from these things that people can actually do on my website on desktop? So when you think the same website that is seen on desktop can also actually be used for mobile, In that case, you might go for responsive design and make sure that sort of the content of your website moves along with the screen size. So when a smaller screen size is used to access your website, people will still be able to read everything without having to zoom or navigate through the page with their fingers. But when you are actually deciding that you're making a separate mobile website because you just want to have a different version of what you're offering on mobile, then you should indeed decide to create an entire new mobile website, which will provide your users with a smaller version of your desktop site. And we do not encourage one of these as to be better for the search results, because we, and again, want to reinforce, make the website as useful for your users. And if you're doing that, Google will be happy as well. So those are two important things that we saw popping up a lot in the online questions that we do want to make clear. And another question that also had quite a bit of upvotes is from the Dead Sea Cosmetics Online. To sort of rephrase the question, SEO companies make money because no one exactly knows how Google indexes sites. Maybe you can tell us the secret, then we will not need them. What do you think? Well, Jogo, it's definitely something that there is no specific secret. The secret here is, again, the user. So we hope to sort of help you further in the way by giving you all these useful tips that make your website mobile friendly. Over the coming weeks, you're going to see a lot more of very specific advice that you can use when you're going into your mobile website and start making a better user experience. So don't see it as one golden rule. See it as a lot of things. Include the 5 sort of basic principles that we discussed today. Revisit those and make sure that you are aligned with them and they're also aligned with your business strategy. And that slowly will hopefully in the long term create your website as one of the top offers in the industry.
I have a question and a comment if I could jump in.
Absolutely.
Of course.
With the responsive design, I think it's important that people realize that just because they buy a template or something for their platform and it says it's responsive, it doesn't necessarily mean that Google's going to see it as being mobile friendly, so they should still use the mobile friendly test tool to make sure that they're indeed mobile friendly. And the other one was little elements that are essentially just improve user experience, like click to call when you have a phone number on your website. I noticed that nobody's really been talking about that much, but as a smartphone user, I think it's really annoying when somebody has a website and you can't just click on it to call. You have to actually try to remember it and go over and dial it and everything. So I was just wondering how much weight those little things have as far as Google is concerned.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Things like click to call, for example, just things that make the overall user experience better, but I haven't really seen specifically mentioned. Like on a smartphone, if there's a phone number listed on the website and you can just like tap it and it'll automatically generate a click to call, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And so to make sure, you're asking when and if we would include that in considering a website mobile friendly or not, or
yeah, if that's kind of an important element, because I think it is as a user. I hate it when somebody doesn't have that ability on a website.
Well, we keep improving our detection devices and how we evaluate the websites. In order to roll out and to evangelize this go mobile and mobile first mentality, we came up with this very specific aspects and settings that we feel a mobile friendly website should have. Obviously, if businesses want to take it and should take it a couple of steps further and implement every feature that would be useful for their users, that's great. We just established as the sort of like the bare minimum for you to be competitive and for Google to consider that your website is relevant in a mobile world. You have to have a couple of these settings that we already briefly discussed and that will be discussed in the next Hangouts. So I would say that the mobile friendly testing, the mobile friendly badging as of now looks at the must-have features for websites for us to consider them mobile friendly. The features that you're describing, although being very, very useful and very relevant, are more of a nice to have. We might revisit this and might include other signals in the future, but as we are now, we consider that we have a good system in place to understand which websites would provide a good experience or not.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, can I jump in with a small question?
Sure.
Regarding the April 21st ranking update that will affect mobile-friendly websites, we expect, just based on the fact that it passes the test, the mobile-friendly test, so websites that pass the test will get the benefit, websites that don't won't? Or is it affecting to various degrees based on how mobile-friendly the website is? For example, for websites that manage to complete 95% of the test or something like that, or the mobile usability features that are including with page speed insights. Is it a varying degree, or is it just black and white? You pass the test, you get the benefit, you don't.
So at the moment, it is a binary decision in the sense that if you are awarded the mobile-friendly badge, means that you pass the test, which means that we consider you mobile-friendly, and it's based on a couple of the requirements that we mentioned, and that if you don't pass the test, we highlight and help you sort out. So at the moment, it's not gray, and there's not various degrees of how much you can benefit from this ranking factor. It's really do we consider you to have the minimum requirements to provide a good experience to your users on mobile? If yes, you're going to benefit from this signal, as opposed to websites that don't have this minimum, don't pass these minimum requirements. So far it's very binary. Obviously, Google, as I said, is always trying to improve the way we understand the web and all the content and all the resources that are available for the users that search on Google. But as a first step, we figured that it would be important to evangelize and to promote a mobile approach. And so far, it's very binary.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And is it based on a page-by-page basis, or does it take into effect the whole domain, the whole website?
So we are going to evaluate your website in general, and if we find specific mobile usability issues with any of the or all of the pages, we are going to let you know on Webmaster Tools. You have a tool which a tab which is a mobile usability issues, and there we're going to go and discriminate by each page, for each page, what are the issues that we find and how can you solve them.
Okay, so if I just create a new page and by mistake I add a banner that might exclude the mobile-friendly tag for just that page, will that page have to suffer? I mean, not get the benefit from the ranking signal? Would the whole website be affected by this, or just that single page, or not at all?
No, I mean, if you have one specific page that we would be showing on the search results that is clearly not providing a good experience, and it may be for that banner or not, that page we will identify that one page as having that issue. But if your whole website, if the main page of your domain, and if the other pages are good, they're not going to suffer by consequence.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Do we have time for one more, John?
I think with that we will close off. We just want to mention, as we said, there's a lot of great stuff to come, and the next one will be next Thursday. So please stay with us. There will be information online. There will be updates sent to you regarding this, and we already talked about all the great stuff that is coming up. So make sure that you dial in for the coming series. And hopefully at the end you'll be able to say that you're providing a great mobile-friendly user experience for your users. And with that, we would like to thank you for your presence today. We hope that it was useful. Diogo, any final words?
Just that I appreciate the fact that we had a lot of people showing up, and I hope it was useful for you guys. And as John said, tune in for the next sessions because it only gets better from now. Thank you very much, guys, and we'll see you around. Bye.
Bye-bye. See you.
Thanks.
The red one.